Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Crazy Life, where today we will witness how a newcomer navigates the chaos to capture everyone's attention. He realized he was still a rookie and couldn't find his footing, so he gathered a gang at the institute and used some tricks to win their cigarettes. He bets $1, luring Morin to prove he's not just boasting. He barges into the nurse's station to turn off the music, making him want to dance. He throws in a little scare for the passing nurse, but she gives him no chance and kicks him out immediately. He hoped the head nurse would turn off the music, but she ignored him and mocked him for dirtying the glass, leaving Murphy feeling like a failed science experiment. Seeing them bicker over board games, he grabs a hose, unleashing a water attack in fury. He wants to refresh them with cold water, urging they sit and think how to level up instead of idling. He says he'll escape to watch the game, but a patient douses him with cold water before he finishes. Surveillance is everywhere here. As soon as break time hits, chains lock the doors, making it impossible to escape. To address fellow patients' worries, Murphy has a plan: move a sink and break the weakest window. But many shot him skeptical looks, not believing he could lift that heavy thing. Faced with their disdain, he opts to show them through action that they shouldn't jump to conclusions. He gives it all he's got and can't budge it an inch. Out of breath, he claims it's just a warm-up and challenges the sink again. In the end, his face turns red, and he can't make it budge. The sink bears witness to Murphy's lofty ambitions deflating, but the labor marks on his hands prove he tried at least. Murphy leaves with a sense of regret, leaving the others confused in place. Next day, he finds the so-called chief, the solitary Indian, and notices his lonely heart, hoping to crack open a window in his soul. He asks the chief to raise his hand, while the nearby staff remind him the chief's a big guy, but he stays focused on the task. Finally, the chief follows, and Murphy asks him to dunk the ball. But the chief seems oblivious, turns to Burly Man, punches his neck in anger, then dunks under the hoop. He tells the chief to jump and put the ball in the hoop, quietly strengthening their bond. At that moment, the patient jumps in on the front and starts spinning him around. Chief, watching this scene, appears thoughtful, while the head nurse above keeps her eyes on them, curious about what this challenger to her authority is plotting. At a story-sharing session, a young patient is grilled to despair by the head nurse, but an older man who previously supported Murphy intervenes. He retorts to the head nurse, asking why she insists on bringing up topics people don't want to discuss when there are so many fresh topics to talk about. And the head nurse counters that the nurse's job is to treat, not play around. But the old man shares Murphy's views, seeing watching games as a valid form of therapy. Seeing the debate at a standstill, the head nurse had to initiate a new vote. The patients trusted Murphy unconditionally based on his prior performance. Despite this, she still doesn't have enough votes. She's sitting at 9 while the institute has 18 patients. That means it's a tie. Murphy is incredulous. He never thought the head nurse would count those completely out of their minds against him to block his vote. He tries hard to communicate with the others, but they just don't get what he's saying. Still, he doesn't give up and patiently tries to persuade them. However, the head nurse, unwilling to waste time, rises to end the meeting. Murphy then notices the chief in the corner, tries to get him to raise his hand, but feels helpless at his slow response. As he's on the verge of giving up, a miracle occurs. The chief appears to get his meaning and raises his hand. Upon seeing this, Murphy shouts excitedly and sprints to the nurse's station, asking the head nurse to switch on the TV. However, the head nurse completely crushed their hopes, outright refusing Murphy's request on the grounds that the meeting had ended. To the head nurse, this is a challenge to her authority, and every feeble shout from him is a betrayal of hope. Suddenly, he begins to report a baseball game, drawing others' attention. Though they don't know why Murphy passionately comments on a blank TV, gradually, they get swept up in his enthusiasm, feeling as if they are at an epic game, laughter and cheer enveloping the patients. The nurse watches quietly, finally realizing that Murphy is a serious threat. She yells at everyone to stop this madness, but they totally ignore her. The next day, he sees a squirrel climbing on the wire fence, and a bold idea flashes in his mind. So, Murphy makes a daring decision. He's taking a group of fellow patients out for a day of fun. He calls up the tallest chief and uses his body as leverage to climb up. The chief boos him from below, and with a mighty leap, he grabs onto a tree branch. Just like that. Murphy escapes this prison for the first time. Gazing at his back, the usually taciturn chief finally smiles. At this time, staff are taking patients out for fresh air. Murphy sneaks into the car as they close the door. He drives off, leaving the patient stunned, but as he arrives in town, the lively scene outside fascinates them anew. The car pulls over by the roadside, and Murphy brings out a girl from the back. She's his love interest. Today, he's set to take her out for some fishing, and his fellow patients can't take their eyes off them. Upon arriving at the dock, Murphy appears the most sane among them, ready to rebel against the constraints of the inn. He must lead, guiding patients to real life. As he prepares to sail, the dockmaster bans their trip. However, clever Murphy just plays it cool, stringing the dockmaster along to gain his trust. Somewhat haphazard preparations, the thrilling journey out to sea begins. Sailing under a huge bridge, they break free from authorities' shackles, enjoying breeze and vast sea sky. They deeply appreciate the beauty of the world. Murphy calls his former sidekick to take the helm and steer straight ahead. Then he sets out to teach the other patients how to fish, pulling out some stinky little fish to show them, using a fish hook to poke through the fish.